user information from a CSV file, or not, just a text file. So we are going to create the file, which is persons. It's just a text file. Okay, and what we have here, let's say then we have the position, which is QA. Then we have a description, and then we have the year of experience, which are, so let's add one more row. Developer, web developer with 5 years of experience. So we have two lines of file on 2 lines in this file, separated fields by this sign, the semicolon. So semicolon with dot. And let's back to the person reader. Person reader will need this file to read the person information. And let's say this is variable persons. We can read a file with this file function in PHP, and the file is here in the same directory. And let me try to print the content of the file to see if everything is working. So we have persons reader. No, it's person reader mode, maybe. Yeah. So we have an array, and each line of the file is a separate element of the array, the 0 and the 1. All right. So what we want to do is, again, to call the template. Let's say, let's create some template here. Let's separate. We want to display this information. No, let's use the index. We want to display this information, and we have the template. The template is, let's say, info template. Okay, we display the information here. All right, so we display that data, and also we are continuing to display the data here. That means we should require the template in this, or just include template with PHP, include templates, template, then info PHP. Okay, like that. And we also want to use this template on the person's reader. All right. So this template is for single user. And when we go to the template, we can see what kind of variables the template expects. And because the showing of the information should be independent, this will not break the code if these variables are not provided. So let's go here on the person readers. We still don't have data here, and probably I will get an error, maybe. Okay, I'm getting an error because in the info PHP I have not set the variables. and that's why we want to define default values to display, because we are not dependent from this template. It shouldn't be dependent from the business logic of the application, and it doesn't need the context. This template should work with all the scripts that it's required there. So we will just have some default values. Okay. We have again an error on person reader on 5 line. Okay, yeah, it's not included properly. Okay, so we have the template displayed, but it's not, it doesn't break our code. It's just a template. So we want to pass these variables. And what we can do is to get this information from persons and move through all the lines of the rows with for each. So we have a person on each line. Okay. And let's just a second. We don't need this one. Okay. It's a plain PHP. And now if I dump the person, I will see that this is not just a string, just string with information of the user. Okay. So now I will define a variables with coming from that person, and I will define the same the same variables required from the template. This is the full name, and how I'm going to do that is I will extract the data. Comes from this each string, and I will separate the data by this sign, so it will return me an associative array with the separated data. Let me show you how. So let's say data is equal to, this is the function I'm going to use. I will separate by this sign from the person array. Okay. And what else? What else? Person. Right. So now when I dump the data, you see I have separated the data by their fields. So I have separated the name, the position, the description, and the years of experience. And what I should do is to I have two options here, but the easiest to define the variables. So I have full name, which is the first element of the person array. Then I have the position, which is the second element of the array. Then I have the description, which is the second element of array. Then I have the experience, which is the third element. And let's say what we have now. Okay, something is worked here differently. Let me see what. Okay, we should get the data from data, not from the person. The data contains the separated fields from the person. So let me replace this one. Okay, So let's put some breaks here. All right. Year of experience, it's not presented. Let me check why. Not presented because, yeah, the variable is different. The variable is different. So here, year experience. Okay, perfect. So, couple of interesting things here. Firstly, I have reused the template with the data that comes from an entirely different place. It comes not all from the form, but it comes from a file. And secondly, I have reused the template twice. So you can see that this is called dynamization of the data. I have one template and I'm reusing it. Imagine if I have to display this data without PHP. So I had to go to the file and put the names here, and if I want to change, for example, this to company position, so I should go through all the records and change it. So the using of templates and separating of the data help us to reuse the information and to don't repeat yourself, to not repeating yourself, and also this makes easier to change something on the code. We use the rules here in the template. We have some rules, we have some structure, but the data can be provided from different places, and we can use this structure for many data. That is very easier instead of using just a plain HTML. But let's back to the OOP topic. So this is very well. So this template works equal with this script, but also with the index PHP file. So if I submit the form, okay, have some errors. Index PHP line 7. Include file to OpenStream no such file directory. Template info. Yeah, it's not this, but it's this. Okay. Here I have the same template. Use it for the same. Use it with the same with different source of data, let's say. And when I change something on the template, let's see, I want to add in some CSS, okay, and I want to display the text and bold, okay. You can see the changes is affected. This is Michael, it's a project manager. But when I go to the person reader file, again the bold is applied, but I use it with different source of data. Alright, so let's back to the topic, object-oriented programming. Let's imagine that the data which is come here For example, here we want to have a sum logic, and we want to check the years of experience, and if the years of experience is bigger than 5, we put a label to the person that this person is senior, it have a lot of experience, and we want to separate the person by junior and senior. So what we do is to add a simple logic. This simple logic, it will include a new variable which is let's say experience label. Okay, so it will be a simple check. It will be like that. Year of experience is bigger than 5. This is senior. If not, this is junior person, junior professional. Okay, and let's put the experience label on the template. It will be label. Okay, and this will come from label variable. Okay, if it doesn't exist, it will not show an error. I have a default value here. Alright, so experience. Alright, if I go back here, senior, alright, and junior, because here is 10 and here it's not bigger than 5. It's 5, so it's junior. It works. If I go to the index PHP and go here, project manager, test, 2 years of experience. I don't have this variable because of two things. Firstly, the data here that I'm including doesn't have this one. This is the first thing. And secondly, I also not have the logic that define if I'm experienced, if I'm senior or I'm junior. And what option we have here? Let's try to do what we did earlier, to separate to reuse the code, the piece of code. So if I get this one and use it here, then refresh, I'm getting error, of course, because the source of the data is different here. I don't have a full name. I don't have the data 1, data 2, data 3, because they come from the CSV file and I'm not reading the CSV file right now. So this is not an option, because the source of the data is different. Also, what I can do is to, keeping in mind that the source is different, and keep the same structure and just add the variable here, which will be the experience label, and it will be a check, the same check. Let's copy the check, same check. Okay, and maybe it's going to work. Yeah, it works. But firstly, what we have here? We have a different source of data, and we have a check that is the same for the both files, but it's not reused. It's not reused because the year of experience, it's sometimes from post, sometimes from CSV file. So we don't reuse something by this way. And let's imagine that our boss go to us and tell that we change the rules. We change the rules. The candidate doesn't need 5 years experience to be senior, but they need only 3. Okay, we change that. We change that. And if I try it, okay, 2 years. Going here, I'm already senior. So the logic it works. But if I go here on the person reader, and let me try this one. Let me change or add a new line, which will be Steve Jobs as developer or as QA. Steve Jobs have only 4 years of experience, let's say. And refreshing, okay, it's still junior. It's still junior because the logic here it's not updated. So you can see how hard it is to maintain a code that is repeated, but it does the same job. So I should change 1,000 files. Yeah, it happens sometimes. We currently have only 2 places that we use that code, but they may be tens of thousands, and it's very difficult to maintain this one. And this is where the object-oriented code helps. It helps to reuse logic and data that is when it's equal on the different place, but also helps to set different data from different sources, and again to use this data on the same time. Let me show you how in the next video.